There's a little bit of a difference here. Hey everyone, welcome to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Alex, this is Mike. Today we'll be discussing The Division 2. It's finally here, we got our hands on it, we played it, spoilers, we kind of like it, which is surprising, but we'll get into that later. First, Mike, what does a thirsty agent got to do to quench his thirst here?
Today we're drinking something called a Nitro Sour from Blood Brothers Brewing in Toronto, a brand we recently brought in, actually. They make a bunch of really cool sour beers, which is why we were interested in them in the first place. And a Nitro Sour, just like Guinness, actually, I just found out, nitrogenated beer is, instead of carbonated beer, it's smoother to the taste. You know, it's like kind of like drinking a milkshake beer, except, you know, it's not a milkshake beer. Just naturally, by virtue of the gas that they pump through it, it tastes that way, and that's why we have to shake up the can a little bit before we pour it. Also,
yeah, I noticed that
process.
Shake.
I kind of bunged up in my case, or maybe in Alex's. I really don't know how it was supposed to come out here. Yeah, but hey, it tastes pretty good. I really like it. Check out this brewery.
Pouring.
Yeah, I tried.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever seen that. That's cool though.
It's a delicious sour though. It's more subtle than a lot of the ones we tried before. I don't know if it's kettle sour.
It tastes like juice.
Yeah, it does. It's really good. Yeah.
Like actual juice.
Sour sop. I think
Not
it's kind
bad.
of flour or something from.
I'd say it's pretty good.
It's delicious.
I've said that before though.
Delicious
so
beer, yeah.
I don't know if you can trust
Tried
me.
a couple of their other sours too, so yeah, check out Blood Brothers Brewing in Toronto. They're really good.
Yeah. You guys are just gonna have to find out for yourselves. We'll sit here and enjoy all we want and tell you about it, but until you try it, you don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Who cares? The Division 2.
I really think that's the way it was supposed to go at the end.
Oh, you think it's supposed to be like that?
Yeah. Cause see, that one has like now yours is like. Now it's like just.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this is literally like I'm drinking apple juice, guys. This is all a lie. Everything's a lie. The simulation is in full effect right now.
Yeah.
But what isn't a lie is that we liked the Division 2 so far, right? So before we kind of get into the game a little bit, I feel like we gotta sort of get it out that this game wasn't really on our radar right away. It has all the qualities of a game we typically wouldn't like. Right off the bat, like it's
games we spent the past few weeks telling you that we
telling
detest.
you that you shouldn't play games, live service games, whatever.
Or at least that we really don't like.
I mean,
them,
I like
that's
shooters. Sure. That's a given.
Yeah, I understand.
Third person, first person, whatever.
And we also like RPGs. I know.
We
both
also
of us
like
do.
RPGs.
Yeah, games
it sits in a
number-based
weird spot.
systems. It's just
game.
that it's a live service game, which would typically
and open
put us
world.
off. Yeah.
So
and open world, something we were fatigued on for a while. I know, based on our mutual.
So live service, not really feeling it. Open world is usually
kind of burned out.
Too much for us. Yeah, I think the PS3 and Xbox 360 days have kind of given us exactly. We're worn out on that for sure.
Especially even the early parts of this generation. Holy. Everything from Metal Gear, Horizon.
Metal Gear, that was one that burned me. I don't even want to talk about that.
I much prefer like a Dark Souls style or Monster Hunter world even kind of thing where the
absolutely
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
To be honest,
linear, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah.
I can platform
linear or at least segmented to the point where getting lost is not an option. You know, you don't have to wander around too much just for its own sake. I prefer that, but in the Division.
But yeah, enough of the negativity.
Yeah.
But the Division 2 is good so far. So. What can we talk about?
What do you like about the Division 2, Alex? I got a bunch of stuff to say.
Yeah, so far, I like the world. The visuals are great. Current gen visuals, always looking nice. They did a really good job of making the world feel, even though it's like a dead, kind of post-apocalyptic sort of ish vibe. It's very active. There's a lot to look at. You know what I mean? It's very busy. When you look around, it looks like a torn up city that's just shit everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. The difficulty I noticed was actually a point that was worth noting for me. I thought it'd be pretty easy, just kind of run through it, but
it requires a lot of tactical consideration.
Like with the
you have to really be concerned with where you place yourself. But I noticed that the AI sometimes comes across as kind of unintelligent in the sense that you'll have baton wielding enemies run at you and you're blasting them in the face with an automatic gun.
But that caught me off guard because when you're in the cover system, sometimes you're focusing on one side trying to take down one guy, and then someone comes and flanks you and start bashing you. I've died to that a few times, right?
My initial reaction to that kind of thing was these guys are ridiculous, but you notice how it forces you out of cover.
Exactly.
Into a direct confrontation with those guys you were just trying to carefully take out with your sniper rifle. Yeah, the combat seems very tactical. You always have to consider where you're placed And to have like a backup option, I preferred like carrying around the shield for that reason, right? You have
Yeah.
like a get out of jail free card if you ever.
I took that perk as well for
Yeah,
that
that's
reason.
cool.
If you find yourself being forced out of your cover, at least
Yeah.
you bring up the shield. There's a few cool
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
perks that you unlock throughout the story missions, I believe.
When I think of the Division 2, after I played maybe now for 25 hours, not a massive time investment at this stage, but I get the sense of integration. All of the systems and the gameplay elements are integrated with one another. It feels like everything that you're doing has like an incremental contribution to make to your progress overall. There's no useless activities. It
Yeah, it all
respects your
fits
time
very
in that
well,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
Cohesion's
Whatever
really
you're
nice.
doing, like I don't mind wandering around and stumbling upon some ridiculous activity. Stopping like propaganda broadcasts or an execution in the streets, because you always find something cool like afterwards, like some good gun or some kind of upgrade.
Yeah, you
that's,
get at
that's
least
one
a
thing
piece
I
of
noticed.
gear,
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
if you just find those control points and stuff, or the safe
Yeah,
houses.
the
If you
control points
liberate that,
especially, yeah.
you get a new fast travel spawn point, which is nice.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah.
So there's reasons, there's
for
incentive
sure,
to
yeah.
do the stuff you're
Even just in
doing.
the minor distraction things. Like I'd say control points are one of the more fundamental aspects of taking over. Like
Yeah.
control points are
I
pretty
guess, yeah.
fundamental, but they have those like randomly generated ones almost too, like the
Mhm.
question mark ones that appear sometimes on your map and then they fade away when you fail at them or when you get by things,
Yeah.
or even the bounties. Like usually in games, I would consider this kind of thing like a unnecessary meat, like unnecessary
yeah.
matter, like doesn't have to be there. But in this case, like I feel again that it's integrated well, and you
Yeah.
don't mind taking it upon yourself to complete these tasks, because not only is the gameplay satisfying at the same level that Destiny is, like you're not going to not have fun playing from moment to moment. That's not really the problem, nor is it a problem from what I understand with games like Anthem. But also that everything that you do, firstly, it feels fresh. Like I've played again for about 25 hours. I've seen all kinds of different stuff, above ground, underground, like sewers, airports, like libraries, arenas, all kinds of crazy
Buildings.
stuff. You find yourself in different
Generic.
places all the time, and there's a fairly like, it's no masterpiece, but it's an engaging storyline. Like
Yeah.
a world that I enjoy. Like it's a good exercise in world building at the very least, which again to me, I maybe expressed before, is definitely more important than story per se, like having characters interacting. Like I don't care so much about that, but as an exercise in world building, it's very cool,
Right.
It's very like, it almost feels like magical realism, like this strange
Well,
like
it's-
disassociation you feel like walking through a modern city and there's like overgrown trees
Yeah.
and deer running around and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
like
it's a lifelike environment,
a
but there's
Wonderland
also
kind of
the
thing, yeah.
RPG elements which make it seem
Yeah.
like a fantasy. But what I wanted to touch upon before was, in terms of the world, those things you do, like the question marks and stuff, all feels natural, because that is the world you're in the game. It's kind of, you're going out there and you don't know what's out there. There's gangs and
Yeah.
what
I
they
mean-
called the hyenas. They're unpredictable.
Yeah.
Who knows what the heck they're doing,
Getting
right?
into the other
so it kind of
zones and
feels
meet
like
another gang too,
to
probably.
encounter something like that is it feels fairly natural, that a part of that
It does.
world and stuff.
I would say like with Far Cry 5, feeling ahead with that game too, maybe we expressed it before, is that the open world was kind of the game, how you progress through the game was by completing the open world. It wasn't
Right.
some tangential thing. There was none of that like a neo-luditive dissonance like in Red Dead 2, where the storyline and the rest of the game essentially are two really distinct segments. You can almost separate them to no detriment to either, which is
Yeah,
strange,
it all feels
right?
like it's one.
In this game,
world,
it feels
the
like your
game,
progress is contingent on your completing everything else.
Yeah.
Everything contributes to everything. There's a real sense of integration. I really enjoyed, especially the control points, taking over the map, just like in Far Cry 5. Completing control points and seeing that marker on the city where it says "Liberation completed." I really enjoyed that for the zones I completed so far. So that's what I strive to do mostly. Like you complete those side things at your leisure. The executions, the propaganda broadcasts. You tick those off as you wander past them, but like it feels like the main loop is wandering into a new zone at the appropriate level, ticking off all of the the control points, the side. Apparently, it's good to save your side quests actually, because they scale to your level. So
Oh, really?
I'm trying
so
to
you
do
get
that
better
now,
gear
yeah.
if you do them at
It's
a
good
later
to
level?
save them till
Okay.
when you complete the main mission, because then you have that whole bracket where you have to progress now to level
Right.
30 or whatever, and otherwise, what are you going to fill your time with, right? Like just wandering around.
So I've been doing this backwards the whole
So
time.
save. Apparently, it's good to save your side missions.
I was gonna say, this is one of
Yeah.
the first games I've played that I actually enjoyed doing a lot of the side
Me too.
content,
The side
and
content
then getting
is awesome.
the story
Actually,
mission.
they're all little dungeons, and feels like that you can get
Yeah.
a guy, a buddy to help you with.
Yeah.
They're really cool. It feels like when I used to play instances in WoW with my good friend Andrew that was here the other day. just go into a level and like you can wander in with somebody off the street there that you find and
Right on.
go fight a boss, and you always get loot upgrades. Sometimes I notice loot does drop that's below your actual level, but it feels like in essential moments, when you complete like support drops or whatever, you claim supply caches from the enemy there, and you open them up, and you usually get an upgrade. At the end of bosses, you get an upgrade. So there's always like a constant, steady drop of awesome loot you can mix with and like experiment with, build a few loadouts. It's awesome. I noticed even the other day when we were playing together, maybe we can pull up footage of that.
Oh, we definitely will.
Yeah, we were trying to complete that dungeon there. That what was it? It was a side mission, or
which one.
I think it was one of the story missions. Actually, we were trying to figure out how to progress in our settlement, so we went to do a story mission, and we were having a tough time with some of the encounters, so we just mixed up our weapon loadouts and found an effective way to counter the
I had
enemies.
that slow sniper rifle. It wasn't working too well. So we
yeah.
were in mostly indoor, I think, environments.
Yeah, and it really inspires this like sense of experimentation. You're like, I wonder what I could do in this sense, or what I could use to counter this.
There.
You see like the skills, and you wonder like, did I take the right skill now? You get more skill points. It's nice because apparently by the end of the story you unlock all the skills. So
really?
You can really experiment.
Cool.
Yeah. And then at the end, in the end game, you specialize as either someone with a sniper, a grenade launcher.
No way.
Or I don't remember the last one. I'm gonna get the sniper too, though. Yeah.
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 One of us can.
Yeah.
One of us can.
I heard about this sick build that you can get the sniper to do headshot damage to any part of the body and
no way.
with a certain combination of skills.
That sounds
and gear.
OP as hell.
That's cool. Yeah. So it's nice to have a build to work towards in these kinds of games. But yeah. It's a really fun game. Again, a sense of integration. I feel like everything I do is serving everything else. There's no like disassociation, even minor things. Yeah.
I found specifically the shooting to be it's pretty satisfying for a third person. Like you don't get that same impact as a first person shooter of like shooting the guns. Like in a first person shooter, obviously it's a lot more pronounced, and you can get like a really good feel for it. But for a third person shooter, it feels good. So I definitely like that. Like sniping with the model 700 sniper that I was using, it's so slow. Like you literally reload one bullet at
4 second reload
when
times.
You shoot, when you can hear it and feel like the kick.
Nice big
and when you get a headshot, it's almost an instant kill on like most enemies. It just that felt really fun and cool. Like that was sick.
Now, one neat thing I was thinking about over the course of the week that I wanted to mention to you actually was we talked last week about this disconnect in the Souls games between the numerical progress and the skill-based combat and everything else, and how we said, we're looking forward to Sekiro because, or at least I said, I'm looking forward to Sekiro.
Stripped of the RPG
it's stripped of those RPG mechanics because this game, it's a case where, you're playing a shooter with RPG elements, so your skill is somewhat restricted or augmented by the quality of your gear. And one nice thing I noticed in this game, I don't know if this is like even an acknowledgement of that or an acknowledgement of the almost absurdity of like blasting a guy in the head for numbers and him not dying, right? But like most of the enemies with big health bars, or rather they don't have big health bars, what they have is armor, right? They have like pieces of armor that you shoot to chip away, you see it flying off of them, and then when the armor flies off, even the bosses, they die like right
and they
away,
die
right?
pretty much, pretty
like
well
a normal
instantly,
guy.
Yeah, that kind of helps.
Yeah, I like that. I
that
like
was
that. The bullet sponginess, right?
That was one thing I was worried about going into this game. Now, I didn't really play too much of the Division 1 anyway, so I don't know what it was like then. But that always feels off and like disconnected, like kind of breaking the immersion where you're shooting bullets into a human's head. And because it's an RPG, that stuff's more easily digestible in a total, complete like fantasy world where nothing is like the real world, right? So
now, to be fair though, like what the Division has done,
they did a good job at it.
They did this stuff too, but they also made most of the activities scaled to your level. Even if you, like I said, with the side missions, if you go to help somebody else with lower level content,
right?
Or if you go into PvP, in most cases, I know there is some unskilled content where your actual gear matters, or I heard there was, but in most cases you scale. So again, it's integrated in the sense that you're going to get gear that drops to your level. Nothing feels useless over under leveled, and I think that also helps to like mitigate this disassociation between the the numerical progression and the skill-based combat in this case, and maybe even helps to integrate them like with everything else in the game, right? Not only at the fictional level, like the sense where you see armor pop off of characters when you shoot at them, which represents their health. Like at least it's not just this guy getting blasted in the face and not dying for 15 minutes.
So weird,
I really like those little efforts, like it's almost an acknowledgement of that tension. And on the other hand, how if you play most of the content, like irrespective of gear, and the game even gives you gear every level to make sure that the gap is not too wide, you know?
Right.
It tries to equalize that. It tries to keep you within an acceptable range, so this difference is hardly noticeable, right? Like when you do PvP, when you play the dungeons or replay them.
Right.
Yeah, your level is scaled. It's nice.
So it doesn't feel like
it doesn't feel like you're playing a weird thing.
Two-shot you and you're pumping bullets, and then, like, that would be a weird disconnect.
And most of the time, if you shoot a guy in the head, he dies.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
Unless he's wearing a helmet, which you have to shoot off him. It's nice.
Yeah, so a couple shots.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. I like that.
I don't know if I noticed. Does it scale if we join a group? Because I know we played it
I believe
together.
It does upscale.
I know it scales, but is that what it is? Is it scaled to the highest party member? So if
I
I'm
think
like level 15 and you're 10,
I don't know about
be
PvP. I heard in PvP there was some
PvP,
wonky considerations.
Yeah.
But I heard in PvE it
regular
does
co-op,
scale you up to the level of the guy you join, I believe.
It scales the lower level person?
Yeah, I believe it's whatever. I could be wrong about this. Don't quote me. But from what I understand, it's like,
just played it.
To the level of the guy whose game you join, you know?
Right.
Not like, which would make the most sense, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And you get the same loot. It's nice. You get loot relative to your level. Like, works for you, right? Which is good.
I got a few... I think I wrote down a few slightly negative points. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to say that you liked about it.
I do have a couple of things I wanted to say, actually.
No, about positive things.
Positive things,
okay. Cool. Keep going.
Continuing in the Ubisoft tradition of not making political games, which is something, you know, if you've been watching our previous videos, you know that we much prefer.
I mean,
you know, letting us...
people would argue that Far Cry 5 had a lot of political injection, but that was just the story.
I would argue that when I say a game is
fiction.
political, what I mean is the game is political in its form. Like, just like there's games about Jedis and dragons, there can be a game about
with politics in the story.
It can be the thing you're
their
painting
own
a picture of. Sure.
Yeah.
Even if it's a picture of real world politics, you can paint a picture of that too. But when you are making propaganda, when you're trying to say this is right or moralizing, then that's an infection of your artistic purpose. You're no longer trying to make something beautiful. You're trying to make something that tells you what to do, tells you what's right, presents a certain kind of view. This very very ideological view of art, which I don't agree is the case. I don't believe that all ideas are political, that all ideas have power. Some ideas are beautiful. Even if tangentially they may do something else. The point when you make something is to be beautiful. So you could definitely make a game like The Division 2. I just watched a video about this on another guy's channel I kind of like called The Quartering. He talks about the Jim Sterling issue, which I'm referring to you right now. And, you know, I think exactly what's at stake is the distinction between making a game about politics or making a political game. You can definitely make something about politics or about dragons again, or about Jedi, or about unicorns, you know, or Simpsons or whatever. Just like Matt Groening makes a show called The Simpsons and a show called Disenchanted. Like, but making a political game is making a game with a message.
But yeah, you're saying to
it's
serve
didactic.
Its
purpose is to ideologize or however you want to.
We're just not going to play any game that has that.
Yeah,
that
I'm not
goes
into that at all.
We're just going to ignore it, or we'll just make a video on how bad it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of both.
All right.
But yeah, I like Ubisoft for doing that, and I like this game for doing that too. It manages very well to take, like, you know, modern day, like, cities and like political environments and buildings and turn them into something fantastical for me. To me, like, when I wander through the Washington environment, I feel like it's a wonderland. You know what I mean? It's really cool, and like it feels very disassociating. I like it a lot. I use that word a lot too.
Yeah.
And it's for a specific reason. It really takes you out of yourself. It like shocks you in the same way that a magical realist novel would, and you see like a normal place and like these fantastic conventions prevent it to you. I like it. It makes normal things magical. I'm trying to say, you know.
Right.
With the Division 2, it does not feel like you're in any way playing a minimum viable product.
Yeah,
if anything, it's a maximum viable product. Like it's
they could release this as a standalone single player experience, and I think a lot
you
of
really
people
wouldn't
would
even
like
notice
it.
in many cases. Yeah, I don't really see why it couldn't just be like Far Cry 5 with integrated co-op and no necessary online features. You really don't see any other players. I think the world is instanced off. It feels like to me. I've never actually bumped into anybody else just out on the map. Have you?
No, in the safe houses I've encountered
in the safe
players,
houses,
but
you
they're
see tons,
not in your way or anything. They're just there. The only really negative things I had written down about it
tell
was,
us about the negatives, Alex.
Yeah, so I think because of its online nature, there have been times where the loading gets stuck at 10 and sort of takes slightly long loading
on consoles,
times.
long loading times.
But
terrible.
also, I mean, we're playing it release. Like launch weekend,
build,
so
sometimes there's a queue. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're gonna get stuff like that. So not a huge deal. Even when it lagged. It was only
Yeah,
for
definitely a
minute
negative.
or
Like
whatever.
I still don't see why it has to be an online game in that capacity.
That could
because
be a negative.
Bethesda, Ubisoft has other games where you can cooperate in the game that are not necessarily online games. I just don't see why.
Right.
that was a
Even
necessary
like
feature.
you were
Why do you
saying,
have to log
Far
into a
Cry.
server? Yeah, like Far Cry. Yeah.
I mean, this game was more tailored to that sort of thing, whereas Far Cry is like, here's a single player game, but you can
No, certainly,
co-op
but
with your buddies, right?
You could even say that.
But
you know,
why?
the,
Yeah,
the
I see what
single
you're
player
saying.
Division 2, like this Division 2 single player story, if you could call it that, is more developed than the Far Cry 5 single player story. Right?
Yeah, I
Like,
was doing one of the story missions, and I was playing it alone this time. And
there's more like narrative
going
content
through like
in the
a
Division
building.
2.
There was the environment was different,
characters you
changing.
even
Yeah.
see, named characters talking and
I was-
fighting like
that's
just
the
in
whole time I was
streets.
thinking like this could have been a single player mission game,
Yeah.
whatever, and now you wouldn't even know. You'd be
Imagine if
happy
they
with
just
it.
made
was
it like
good.
Borderlands, even like Borderlands 2. Again,
Same thing,
that was a
yeah.
great like looter
Fucking
shooter in the
love
sense that they
Borderlands
meant
2.
you could play it with multiple people. They even had bosses designed for multiple people, but you could also just play it alone.
Big, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
So
did I
that's
have?
definitely something I don't prefer, of course. But I do like what did come out, and I'm sure they implemented
Yeah,
those features.
despite that,
for- I
still-
really like. I don't know why. Doesn't it cost more to maintain those servers? Wouldn't it be more favorable?
Yeah,
to
but
you
they
to-
can just shut them down one day, which I mean wouldn't be a problem in the
Yeah,
first
it
place if
wouldn't
it
be at
wasn't an
all.
online game.
I'm
but
sure they
I
would
mean,
just like
eventually,
transition it offline. That's it.
Yeah,
just
the
so
only
it's
the only
safer.
negative things I wrote were that
online service game.
I mean, so the other night a checkpoint bugged on me where
yeah.
you know, it told me to go here, went there, and then I passed the checkpoint, but it didn't register, so I had to double back, and then sort of run around in circles until it
Yeah.
finally kind of activated, and then it was good to go. That was, I mean, a
Relatively
minor
minor
bug.
concern,
If I had to restart the mission, that might have been a pain in the ass. But there are checkpoints too,
Yeah.
which is
it's,
surprising in a game like this. So I was
yeah, there's
happy about
checkpoints. It's
that,
nice, yeah.
You die
Even in
as
the
there's
missions, yeah,
checkpoints.
it's cool.
It's cool, man. All right.
You think you're gonna get to endgame? I hope to get to endgame and mess around with the different builds.
End game? I absolutely will not make it to end game.
To level
I'm
30 and-
gonna admit that right off the bat.
Gonna
I
taper off.
probably will not make it to end game because I would need to quit my job, or I would need to tell all the devs and publishers stop releasing games until I say it's okay.
Yeah.
So until that happens,
But see, what if
I
you just do,
probably
like-
will not. Like we can try.
What if you
want,
just get an
absolutely.
hour a day of the division? I propose that we just play the division on the sidebar.
This is
'cause
the
it's a
division
nice-
challenge. Let's do it. The
Yeah,
division
the
challenge. You want to do it? You
I
want
wanna
to get
do
to
it,
end
yeah.
game? I mean, we
All
can.
we do, I just
There's nothing
propose to
stopping
you-
us.
no,
I'm just saying, like,
nothing.
Sekiro comes
I
out.
propose to
I'm
you
gonna
that at
play
minimum we play 1 hour of the division a day. That's it.
I mean, we're already
At
like
minimum,
halfway
yeah.
there.
Now
at,
I'm
like,
doing
level
way more than that for
12
sure.
or something.
But suppose you feel like tapering off. Just put in 1 hour a day. Just go in, do a bunch of little
This is
shit.
like practicing guitar.
That's
just,
it,
Just
yeah.
that 1 hour
Just
a day.
1 hour.
You're
We
gonna
got to
be
get to
good.
end game.
All
I'm
right.
going to be a sniper.
Maybe. We'll
or
see.
if you're going to be a sniper, I'll get the grenade launcher.
Whatever. Doesn't
And we're
even
going to
matter.
grind out some raids. And we'll just do one. Just to
Okay.
say that we've seen the whole thing, you know?
I mean, yeah.
And see if that reinforces the
and
opinions
then
we,
we
just
can
presented
we
to
can
you.
double back and
Yeah,
recap that and
exactly.
see if we got sick of it or.
But I've heard that the end game is pretty awesome. I think his name is,
Problem is with
Paul
this kinda
Tassi
game-
on Forbes was saying that he quit the division and Anthem to
yeah.
rip on, or rather he quit Destiny and
Destiny
and yeah.
Anthem.
and
to play
Anthem to
the
rip on the
Division
division's endgame,
There's
which is
someone
awesome.
who's
Yeah.
more familiar than us, obviously, by
Yeah.
a long shot with these types of games,
Yeah.
and he was happy with it.
Very, very.
Problem
down
is,
with
by the time we reach end game, there's going to be expansions and deals. So we'll just
I don't
we'll
know
just
about
call
that,
it
though,
end
but-
game, and then we'll stop there. No
But
DLC, no
you
expansion.
see, like if
we played too many games.
if we play efficiently, that's the thing. We're just playing
Oh, we
like
could just-
we're dicking around. Why don't we just do
We
this?
could bang
also?
out the story missions.
Go
until
through
we
the
need to
story
grind,
missions
and then,
grind through the side missions, and we'll
Yeah.
be level 30. That's it. That's all you have to do. You'll get like I always feel this impulse to play this as though it were like The Witcher or Dark Souls. Like you'll find this unique thing in this place, but fact is, in a game like this, you're not going to find a unique thing anywhere at any level.
Yeah.
Right. You can
You won't
craft some
find-
unique
yeah.
mods, which is the only useful thing to do while you're leveling up, apparently. But in the rest of the case, it's pretty much possible to disregard. You're not going to find any unique stuff. Whatever you're going to find it somewhere else as well. You can just go through and do the essential things: the control points, side missions, story missions. You know.
But will there? I mean, we won't know until we find out. But if we just did the essentials and all that stuff, will we have to do any additional grinding? You think, or not really? I mean, we don't know until we try it. Right?
I don't believe
because,
so. I
Because
believe
we've
that
been
will
doing.
get you to the end game. I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. If we just
Especially
kind of
if you,
stay.
especially if you buy the experience upgrades.
There's experience upgrades.
Yeah, where
I
you
didn't
can like
notice
get
that.
the headshots to get more
Oh,
experience.
those.
The
Okay,
multi-kill
you're saying
gets
like
you more
like the
experience.
perks and the skills.
That's
I thought
right,
you
yeah.
meant there was like
no,
an Assassin's
no.
Creed Odyssey thing.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, all I saw or all I noticed anyway, was monetization was tied to apparel.
Cosmetics.
Yeah,
I noticed that
cosmetic
too,
stuff,
yeah.
and like
And
who gives a
money. You could buy money.
flying hell about
Which,
that?
if you bought money,
I guess,
I noticed
okay.
though that money, I could be wrong, but all I noticed that you could buy is items from vendors that more often than not are lower than your level.
Yeah,
anyways. If
that's
you're
what I find in
keeping
most
up,
of these
so-
games, or maybe I don't play enough of them.
I
but
really wonder, like even like
they
in
don't
DMC,
have-
buddy.
yeah.
I'm still playing DMC on normal
Yeah.
mode now, and I find again, like every level, I get like 15,000 orbs at least.
yeah, at
All I
least
had
15.
to do,
Yeah, 15. At
I
least.
accidentally, full disclosure, played through the game like on easy mode without knowing
I
it
did
for
the
a
same
good like
thing, too.
half of it.
The only reason we figured it out was because
Yeah.
we talked about it.
Yeah, and then we
figured
then we
out
realized.
that-
So we went back to replay it on normal.
Well, was it human mode is
Yeah,
easy
human-
mode? I thought human was normal,
Yeah,
and then
me
we
too.
figured out that
Yeah.
Devil Hunter or something.
Because most games are
Demon
that
Hunter.
way, right? Easy and normal.
Yeah.
Not normal and hard. But some games are normal and hard, like Resident Evil. So I don't know.
Whatever.
And,
we corrected our
Anyways, yeah,
mistakes.
we went
We're
back, but I
on
did
the
notice
track.
that, like you said, progression carries over, so that made it easier. But in any case, the point
Yeah.
I'm trying to make is why the hell would they sell you 100,000 red orbs? I already unlocked all of the skills for
Is
Nero.
that the one that's $24.99 Canadian?
I don't know.
There's the most expensive one I saw was like $24.99 Canadian dollars, and that was like your biggest batch of
But
orbs
what do you need to
could buy?
Like again,
what do you need to buy 'em? Yeah.
I barely put in any time. I played less than 10 hours of
Yeah,
this game.
yeah, same.
All I had to do was play through a little bit on easy mode to level up all of Nero, most of V, and
Yeah.
a ton of Dante
Yeah.
too. And
I don't know.
I don't know why.
It's not like I bought the
Yeah.
yellow or the gold orbs. That
I didn't even
revive you. I
use a
didn't buy
gold
any of
orb
those.
yet,
Yeah,
even
no.
once. I didn't even use it. All I do is dump my money into moves, and when I don't see a move I want, I buy the blue orbs to get more health. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can buy them in each character.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. I found some. I bought
Yeah.
some.
I bought all the whenever I have orbs to dump, I just dump them into blue.
Yeah.
Into
All
blue
right. What do
things.
you say we close this one?
I say we
out
close
and
this one up.
go, yeah.
At the end of the day, what we're trying to say is the Division 2 is a well-integrated
far,
product. All of the
so good.
aspects of its open world come together well to complement your feeling of progression. It's also good fiction. It's fun wandering around Washington D.C. and seeing all of these
America, am I right?
modern America monuments and stuff like that, like with grass and
There's
deer running around them. It's
Definitely
cool.
a lot of fun to be had in this game,
It's this-
especially if you like this kind of thing.
and the
that
gameplay is
we
top notch.
don't. Yeah.
As we said, there's
Definitely a
there's
AAA.
fictional
Feels
elements to
AAA.
that acknowledge and compensate for this disconnect between skill-based combat and numerical progression systems. So overall, super fun so far. I've had a great time over this weekend playing it, and
Maybe one day we'll stream it.
yeah,
Maybe.
the hour a
First
day
time.
challenge. Then Alex, we agree to that.
Maybe we'll stream it.
I'm not one for challenges, but
Yeah.
let's do an hour a day of the Division, all right, until we get to endgame.
We'll
take different builds.
Unless I bring my PlayStation.
Man,
with
take
me
your
to Florida.
PlayStation or buy one there. Just buy a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Buy a
one, leave
Florida
one there. I
PlayStation.
have actually a
Yeah.
PS4 and a PS4 Pro. Like I could bring my regular one over, but
There you go.
we'll see.
They
I'm
might
gonna
think
be
it's a
busy
bomb in
doing
your
stuff,
fucking,
but- No, I brought my Xbox One on a plane one time. The original one.
Yeah.
I had the white one that I eventually
Oh,
sold.
nice.
It was heavy. It was not fun to carry around.
No.
I really, really wish there was like a sick Nintendo Switch game coming out.
Yeah, what the hell?
That would
eh?
have helped me.
That would
big
help.
Time.
That
Maybe
would
I'll
help.
just pick a random Nintendo Switch game and we'll just talk about it.
Sure, let's do it, man. Play
We'll
Xenoblade
discuss that
Chronicles
off
2.
camera, but yeah, if you're inclined to these kinds of experiences you'll find in the Division 2, then we think you'll definitely like it. Obviously, we haven't beaten it, but so far it's been fun. Seems like a pretty competent, well-made game in the genre. We've said this many times. Eventually, we'll talk about a game we don't like. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But
Just at the end of the day, we'll leave you this image, this shockingly beautiful imagery of the Capitol Monument or
yeah.
the White House with deer running alongside them and plants and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's
It's,
kind of
it's
funny
super
thing,
weird
eh?
and cool
Yeah.
and dislocating.
I was
yeah.
shooting. I actually felt
like
bad.
it.
I shot a dog the other day in the game.
Oh, no, I
I'm
never
gonna
did
get
that.
Downvotes.
What
for this.
happened?
I shot a dog. Thank God Leanna wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
Dog died.
It died. You can
Yeah,
shoot the
Leanna
deer and the
would've
dog.
killed me. When I
Yeah.
shot horses in Red Dead,
Yeah.
she'd just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
I don't like this game.
Oh man, as I get older, I find myself playing morally in games. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a weird affliction or something, but when I was young, I played the evil character in every game, especially things like Fable, when there was
I'm
an
still
obvious
on the
choice.
fence. Because-
Renegade in Mass Effect, Dark Side and
It's like-
Knights of the Old Republic.
In Red Dead, I started off I
Destroy
didn't
the
even
world and
finish
legacy
Red
of
Dead,
Cain.
dude, but
Yeah.
I started off as
I
I'm
killed
gonna be
everyone.
that good guy cowboy. I'm gonna say hi to everyone, hey, when you
Yeah, I
have
did
the
that in
choice,
number
right?
2, yeah.
And then I was like, this is boring. I just started riding around. Every time I'd encounter a thing, I'd just shoot them, steal their shit. I'm like, fuck this. I'm gonna be a badass cowboy. Nobody better get in my way. And then I didn't even finish the game. So I know there's multiple endings depending on
based on whether you're an asshole.
I'm just gonna have to watch them on YouTube because I don't know. Whatever.
Same.
We'll sign off for now.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys soon.
This has been Gaming Under the Influence. Thank you for watching and have a good evening.